Yeah, that's right. I'm yapping about Piotr Zarek again today. The Polish CEO multimillionaire whose name sounds like a Sith Lord. Darth Piotr has spawned global outrage after this clip has just gone insano style. Pretty much anyone with eyeballs on the planet has now seen this, but just in case you've somehow missed it, I'll post the replay for you here on the Jumbotron. Piotr is the scrawny, slimy worm beast man creature that stole that hat from the hands of the child next to him. A tennis player named Majuzak was giving that hat to the kid. He is a fan of his, so he was giving him the hat after celebrating a victory.
It really is all starting to come to a head now. It's just undeniable.
What the fuck?
An unhinged streamer has actually robbed Japanese graves. This is absolutely a streamer has actually robbed Japanese graves. This is absolutely a crime.
So you have a streamer that's going to Japan and robbing graves. They said, wait a minute, Logan Paul, I can do you one even better.
Talk about today on The Legal Mindset, which teach you to be your own judge. And, you know, I thought that Johnny Somali was bad, and indeed there are many bad things about the Somali case. But robbing graves has to be at the lowest pinnacle of streamer depravity. The lowest pinnacle.
I mean, I think this has just always been... This is just like a well-established reality that grave robbing is not a very... it's an unseemly profession. It has been for like the last 5,000 years. What's it? Oh, sorry, there it is.
Of going for clout.
Yes, nobody likes this.
We should have respect for one another, and we should look at those that have passed away, those that are, you know, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, sisters, and look at the places of rest with respect, with dignity, and thanks for what they did. But for a streamer to go out of the way to intentionally rob these graves is out of control. And that's what we have today. So let me play the clips for you guys so you see about this. This is the streamer Lucky Jones, apparently, who is going around Japan and robbing
I haven't seen this.
graves. Check.
Bunch of dead people. Oh, look at this guy. Full can of Kieran.
What a rat!
Full can of Kieran.
What a rat! Bro, what is this? Oh my god! This is it! Are you serious? I don't even understand this at all. Oh my, who does this? Oh my god. This has...
Cheese goba. And this is...
I wonder if he's going to throw it away.
Just literally in the vein of, you know, the former Logan Paul video, etc. Absolutely depraved and absolutely illegal. And he doesn't stop there. He actually went back for more. After he was, you know, went for the first round, he saw the interest he got off that. He went back for more because that's the way that negative clout works, and that's the way these streamers work. If you watch here, he goes back and does it yet again with absolutely zero shame.
Jesus.
Yo, Bonnie Tokyo. Have it on.
Wait, was he doing what I think he was doing?
Bonnie Tokyo.
What the hell? What the fuck is this? This is it. Yeah, we got ourselves
on sticks.
I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, this is the kind of stuff, whenever I talk about 2%ers, I'm talking about people like him. This right here is a genuine...
Piotr comes in there and just fucking gets his grubby paws on it and snatches it right out of the kid's hands. and you can even hear the child say, "No, what are you doing?" Just a big mess here, disgusting behavior on display from Piotr. This act of greed earned him the ire of pretty much everyone with a soul on this planet. He just blatantly steals that hat from the kid, and then ignores the kid, who is like yelling to try and like get his attention to give it back, but it's falling on deaf ears because Piotr's already plugged his ears to it. The story does ultimately have a happy ending though, because this was so big, Matuszak heard about it and then gave that kid another hat as well as an autograph, took a picture with him, so the kid ultimately did get to meet like his favorite tennis player and all of that, and Piotr and his reputation went straight down the shitter, just as it deserved to. Now, in the midst of the chaos of this story, there were multiple statements that were given, allegedly from Piotr himself, also apparently one from his wife, and then also one from a law firm that represents him, and then another from a lawyer that represents him. All of this, turns out, was just a bunch of dirty barnacles. In the video I made covering this, I said that I highly doubted any of it was legitimate. It seems to be a common trend that whenever there is a big story like this that blows up, there are a bunch of people that scramble to post a bunch of like fake, fraudulent information in regards to it and present it as authentic in order to get like engagement and clicks to make money off of it. In this case, they were pretending to be Piotr, pretending to be a law firm, and like threatening to sue anyone that shot spitballs at him and shit, and it was all phony baloney nonsense. Today, though, he has given an actual official statement here. So now we have, straight from his filthy lips directly into my asshole, his stance on everything that unfolded. This was posted on his company's website. Due to the situation that occurred during Kamil Matuszak's match at the US Open, I would like to offer my sincere apology to the injured boy, his family, all the fans, and the player himself. Now, worth noting, this is translated. I think there is some mistranslations here. Calling the child injured, I don't know if he meant like in a metaphorical sense, like, you know, this kid was really excited to get this gift and I took it from him, thus causing like a psychological injury, or if he really thought that he ripped the hat so hard from this boy's hands that he like broke his fingers or some shit. So I do think there is a chance that there's a little confusion here with direct translations maybe not being entirely accurate. But I would like to mention something that is entirely accurate, is that hygiene is extremely important and you need to take it far more seriously, which is why you should be getting our soap, Cheeky. Our soap at usecheeky.com is the best soap you'll ever find, and right now for Labor Day we're doing a big sale where it's 20% off the entire store, baby. So go wild, now's the perfect time to get the best soap in the world, highly moisturizing, and it smells amazing. Now back to Piotr. I made a grave mistake. In the midst of my emotions, amidst the crowd's celebration after my victory, I believed the tennis player was handing this cap to me for my sons who had previously asked for autographs. Again, I think there is wiggle room for a mistranslation. I cannot imagine he actually said amidst the crowd's celebration after my victory. After I won my tennis match, Matuszak was coming over to congratulate me with his hat. I feel like it's supposed to be after his victory, or maybe after the victory in general, or after like the conclusion of the match. I cannot imagine Piotr said after my victory. Can you just imagine that level of delusion, to be so obsessed with yourself? Well, everyone here was clearly showing up because they wanted to see Piotr in the stands. They wanted to take a glimpse of me in the spectators area. And all the tennis players, well, they're performing for my amusement, my entertainment, so really it is my victory at the end of the day. That's fucking unhinged. I cannot imagine that's what he was actually trying to express there. But anyway, this mistaken belief caused me to instinctively reach out. Today I know I did something that seemed like deliberately taking a souvenir from a child. It wasn't my intention, but that doesn't change the fact that I hurt the boy and disappointed the fans. The cap was given to the boy, and an apology to the family. I hope I have at least partially repaired the harm. I also want to make it clear, neither I, my wife, nor my sons commented on this situation on social media or on any website. We did not use the services of any law firm in this regard. All alleged statements appearing online are not ours. Unsurprisingly, he's trying the confusion approach here. Oh, I misunderstood. I thought the hat was intended for these meaty claws right here. I didn't realize he was giving it to the kid next to me. Whoops, I feel so silly and so bad about the mix-up here. which I think everyone could have predicted was coming. But we have very clear video footage that shows it wasn't some innocent mix-up. He literally rips it from the kid's hands, and the kid even says, "No, what are you doing?" and even tries to get his attention multiple times, but gets ignored by Piotr. If it was some kind of honest mistake, I imagine a sensible human being would hear that and see the response from the kid and be like, "Oh, I messed up. This was meant for you. I'm sorry." And you also would imagine that if he thought the hat was made for him, why did he have to rip it from someone else's hands? Like, was he not confused on, like, the resistance? Like, why is this kid trying to take my hat? Like, surely, at some point, he would have thought about what just happened here and recognized, like, oh, this wasn't intended for me. But that's clearly not what happened. He knew this was meant for the kid. He rips it from the kid's hands. He robs the kid of that hat that Machuzak was gifting to him. And then he puts it in his bag because he was very greedy. And now that everyone's really upset and they caught him red-handed here, hand in the fucking cookie jar, he's trying this excuse of, oh, I just didn't know. And now I feel really bad about it. Man, all this egg on my face, am I right? Jeez, whoops-a-daisy. I can't imagine anyone will read that and think that he is being honest, because we can clearly see in the video the real story. So I don't think that excuse flies. He's directly addressing all of the fake statements that were popping up like weeds. And I've already seen people dismiss this as him trying to cover his own ass because the statements weren't received well. I am no Piotr fan, I think that much is clear. I'm not exactly a big enthusiast for this piece of shit. But if you read those statements with any level of, like, critical thinking skills, you should notice that there is a lot wrong with it, especially his wife's statement. His wife's statement reads like someone fucking ran the script of Food Fight through Babelfish 5 different times and then puked out some incomprehensible gobbledygook. Like, it is nearly incoherent. Like, these statements that apparently came from him and his lawyers and his wife, they are just nonsensical, and there's no evidence to suggest it actually comes from them. They are just completely unverified, random comments, random posts on a random forum that people took screenshots of and circulated on Twitter and parading around like it was really from Piotr and people associated with him, with nothing to suggest that was the case. But now that he's saying, like, we never made a statement or anything, people are like, oh, you're lying. Oh, you're super lying. Now I know all of those statements from the previous days. Those are real. Those are real, and you're trying to hide that fact. It's just crazy. It's unhinged. Piotr is a piece of shit. This guy is a turbo douchebag asshole 100%. But I do believe him that they didn't make any of those statements. I'm very confident this is the first peep out of his mouth, and everyone associated with him has probably stayed very tight-lipped on it as well. Those statements, again, have no evidence to suggest they ever came from him or anyone even close to him. Just random fucking posts that people are attributing to Piotr and his wife and shit. Now, going back to his statement to finish it off, for years, my wife and I have been involved in helping children and young athletes, but this situation has shown me that one moment of inattention can undo years of work and support. This is a painful but necessary lesson in humility. Therefore, I will be even more actively involved in initiatives supporting children and young people in actions against violence and hate. I believe that only through actions can I rebuild the trust I have lost. I apologize once again to everyone I have disappointed. Sincerely, Piotr Zarek. He continues to fall on that crutch of, like, inattention is what he calls it, that he just wasn't paying enough attention. It led to all of this. But again, you can clearly see it's not inattention. He is laser focused on getting that fucking hat. It's greed, is what it is. So people can see through the dishonesty in this statement. It's not being received overly well. It feels like he saw what was happening to his business and his reputation, and in a desperate attempt to try and save it, he put out this statement. And it's again, it's fallen flat on its fucking face. Now, obviously, I don't know a lot about Piotr outside of everything that happened here. He claims that he spent years helping children and young athletes. I don't know if that's true or not, if he is like a stand-up guy in the community who for years has helped kids and young athletes. I find that a little hard to believe because someone like that would never exhibit a quality like what was displayed from this clip, stealing that hat. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, I imagine maybe like some neighborhood kids kicked a soccer ball over on his fence and he threw it over instead of popping it and he considered himself a saint. That's probably what he imagines helping kids and young athletes is. not popping a ball that flies over his fence. I cannot imagine this actually being like a legitimately good guy who does like a lot of good for kids and young athletes. Because someone like that would not be stealing a hat from a child. Like, full stop. Anyway, though, this is the actual official response from Piotr, so I wanted to cover it. That's really about it. So, yeah.
2 percenter?
Obsessed with it.
Could it be 2 percenters? I'm talking about people like him. This right here is a genuine 2 percenter.
Obsessed with it.
Could it be fake?
You can't feel shit. Obsessed with it.
Could it be fake?
You can't feel shit.
Why does he have a gun?
Fucking miss.
Wait, do you associate penis with power? Who took your power? Remember, what?
Or do you fucking miss when you couldn't hear all that fucking shit?
I'm gonna be honest. It's pretty obvious this guy has something wrong with him. I mean, you just listen to the way he talks, the way he acts, what he's saying. Like, is this really a person of sound mind? No, obviously not. You gotta lock people. Like, is this really a person of sound mind? No, obviously not. You gotta lock people like this up. This is the kind of stuff that I was talking about before, about how whenever you let a person like this out into the wild, they cause all kinds of problems. This is why we need insane asylums. This guy, yes, obviously, and a degree of this is disrespectful and horrible, but I think there is a chance that this person is so out of their mind, they're so stupid, and they're so delusional, they don't even realize what they're doing is really that bad, because they're just fucking they don't even realize what mind. They're so stupid and they're so delusional, they don't even realize what they're doing is really that bad, because they're just fucking retarded. They're so retarded and impulsive, they don't even consider, is it a bad idea or not to take stuff off of graves? I'm serious. He's just drunk, never on energy. Yep, he's from the prison colony. You can see why.
Yeah, so he's clearly pretty unhinged, going
That's
around
insane.
in costume, it looks like they're in the Japanese cemeteries. And this is absolutely a crime. You can pull this
Yeah.
up. It's under
I mean,
chapter
I would hope so.
14 of the crimes related to places of worship and graves. Article 118 of the Japanese code here, which says, hey, look, profaning places of worship, interference with religious service, a person who publicly profanes a shrine, temple, or cemetery. So profaning meaning to do something like to disrupt the flowers,
Like what he
disrupt
just
the
did.
memorials,
Yeah.
etc. Right?
Kind of like
or any
that.
other place of worship shall be punished by imprisonment with or without work for not more than 6 months or a fine of
Without
not more than
work. I
100,000
like
yen.
that. Sounds
Person
good.
who interferes with sermon, worship, or funeral shall be punished for no more than 1 year, fine of 100,000. Here's the thing. He's messed with several graves. So just
Yeah,
like
he
the
has.
obstruction of business charges in the Somali case,
They're like stacks
these
up.
things could be stacked.
Yeah.
So if we want to go back and just look at what we have on camera, we've got him messing with several graves. So it's very
And
possible.
also, here's the other thing too: is that what do you think this guy does after he leaves the cemetery? Do you think that he just walks back and he doesn't cause any more problems? No. People like this, as I said, they're nevrons, they're animals. Like all they do is cause problems. That's all they do. And so they're going to cause problems anywhere they go. Anything they do is going to be bad. Japan has a 99% conviction rate. Yeah, they need to stop. They need to start getting rid of these people.
that
And
Article
I think it's really sad. And this is the reason, by the way, that the Japanese people don't want, one of the reasons, one of the many reasons, Japanese people probably don't want immigration, is they see people like this clown, somebody like Johnny Somali, and these people come into the country, and they're causing all these fucking problems. So they're causing so many issues, so many problems, and I think that a lot of people are just tired of it. They're tired of it. They don't want to deal with that. Like, why do they want to let in a bunch of foreigners that come in and disrespect them and cause problems?
188 could be stacked here, and we could see
Really?
this guy get some real jail time. People in Japan are very, very mad about this.
They should
but the
be.
word is not out yet, so please try to share this video. I'm going to keep it shorter, just so you can share it out there, get the word out.
That's
let
me.
people know that this guy needs to be found. Some justice needs to be had here, because this is the absolute most depraved thing I have seen in a long time. Guys, please like the video, comment.
As I said, I think the person is I think it's a mental illness. He's a drunk on some sort of substances or a mental illness. I do not think that the person in that video is of sound mind. And that doesn't, I'm not trying to like downplay it, but what I'm trying to say is that I think that, like, you know, for example, like whenever a cat kills a baby bird, you don't look at the cat as evil because it's just in the cat's nature. That's what cats do. And I think this is kind of the same thing. This person is basically, like, you know, because of like what's happened to them, what's wrong with them, they're reduced to effectively an animal. Like, that's really what they are. They're animals. And so really, you gotta, what do you do with animals? Well, you put them in a fucking cage. You keep them in a cage and in a place where they don't bite somebody or cause problems.
Get the word out.
They're human
and I'll
animals.
catch you
Yes, exactly.
On the next one.
He's so retarded. No, I think he's totally right about this. And I'll go ahead and I'll link you guys the video here. I just have never even heard about this until right now. I think I saw like maybe one clip of it. But yeah, this is just disgusting, man. It's just disgusting. And anybody that's doing it is an absolute fucking rat. Yeah, there it is. People keep saying he's drunk. You need to have to remember when if he wasn't drunk, he left his home and he went to the graveyard and then he got drunk while he was there. Well, here's the difference. Who cares? Whenever you're like being drunk, like, I mean, think about it like this. If you're driving drunk and you hit somebody and you say, well, it's not my fault, I was drunk, that's its own problem in itself, right? I mean, like, what are we even talking about acting like it's not? So it's very clearly an issue. It's very clearly a problem. And I'm kind of glad to see at least more people calling it out. And it's an absolute fucking joke. Professional victim fatigue. Holy shit. I think so many people are tired of this.
I just wish there was something I could do for you all. Like, improve public safety for disabled folks every day, you know?
Hands over a mask.
No, thank you. Anyways.
For those of you who are confused, no, this masking video is not from 2020.
Fatigue. Holy shit. I think so many people are tired of this.
I just wish there was something I could do for you all. Like, improve public safety for disabled folks every day, you know?
Hands over a
Oh,
mask.
no thank you. Anyways,
For those of you who are confused, no, this masking video is not from 2020. It was released recently, like a month ago, and you have someone who is still saying that everyone has to wear a mask for COVID, because if you
Oh my God.
don't, then you're a bad person who deserves to be shamed for wanting to live your life normally. This person actually does a lot of masking propaganda, so let's see why.
Why do you talk about masks all the time? Because the pandemic never ended. The government just...
At what point are these people not the same as doomsday preppers? Like, I mean, it's basically the same thing, isn't it?
removed emergency
It's a
status
mental
and normally
illness.
sacrificing our most vulnerable.
You know, it's weird how they were able to drop the emergency status and everything seems fine. It's almost like the risk of dying from COVID was heavily exaggerated and manufactured by horrendous policy decisions and the censorship of doctors with effective treatments. So this person who, by the way, works from home and doesn't have to deal with masking for an 8-hour shift is suggesting that we go back to some of the lockdown policies of a couple years ago.
I see. So they're trying to make rules for everybody else, even though they never even go, I see. I get it.
That crashed the economy, threw a bunch of people into poverty, and damaged everyone's mental health. All for a disease that's basically killing nobody these days. At some point, you have to do a cost versus benefits analysis, and if you get the short end of the stick on that, then you do what you can to protect yourself. But this whole masking 5 years after the lockdown started is not an uncommon belief.
It's very clearly a mental illness. I mean, it's literally just like hypochondria, right? People that are afraid of anything bad medically. Like there are like people that are germophobic. Like, I mean, it should be treated the exact same way. And like, there's a part of me that feels sorry for a person like that because it's very clearly a mental problem that they have.
Actually, I've seen a lot of people promoting
masks
it.
in the car. That's right.
If you guys aren't masking, I'm not going to be around you.
You should go out more.
Now, I don't want to say what they all have in common, but one thing they all have in common is they're all wearing nose rings. Isn't that crazy? It's like every single one. Holy shit, what are the odds?
It better be free. If I'm going out, it has to be free. And there needs to be barely anyone in sight.
Really?
Because, yeah, COVID and people aren't masking.
For context, both of those videos...
One of the ways that she could decrease the risk of COVID to herself is losing weight. A lot of the people that COVID killed were fat. They had comorbidities. Being overweight is a comorbidity.
...were filmed this year. Here's a whole page dedicated to masking propaganda with a comic that says,
"Oh my,
not masking is eugenics," followed by the caption,
"You're participating in eugenics multiple ways. It's not that deep. Move on." That Sydney Sweeney ad was awful. Awful. How do we get here? So, wow.
Talking about how the creator is mad that normal people on the left don't want to wear a mask every time they go outside.
Yeah.
Are you just going to wear a mask forever? Yeah. I can only imagine the tyranny we would live under if this person got any political power. But more
luckily, they never will.
Importantly, everyone is just tired of this type of person constantly playing victim.
Exactly. I think people are generally fatigued with these weird professional victims in every single like space of life. Do you remember like that girl that was complaining about how hard it was to be a woman in Counter-Strike because she got called a stupid bitch because she threw a grenade on the floor and blew herself up? Do you remember that? Yeah. Well, everybody was just shitting on her, and she deserved it.
Isn't that to either tell everybody what
She's
to
still
do
taking
or
heat?
demand?
Shouldn't have been doing it. She's trying to get their accounts banned. She's being an obnoxious Karen. That's what you get. Shouldn't be doing it.
Free shit.
Shouldn't have
We're
done
all
it.
tired of this, or fatigued, as one might say.
Oh.
Because the ones who play the victim game are always the most sociopathic, self-centered, and awful people.
Absolutely.
So no one's being fooled by this fake compassion anymore.
Well, I think also that why you're just oh god, it's I know this is a fucking millennial. You know this is a fucking oh Jesus. And these are all the original 150 Pokemon. Yeah, they're in their 30s, man. This is bad.
Disabled people wear masks then. Some disabled...
I knew it. I fucking knew it. See, there's a part of me that appreciates this because You ever notice how, like, animals, whenever they're removed from their natural habitat, they'll try to create a natural habitat in the area that they've been relocated to? And as you can see here, we have a very clear mental asylum patient who's tried to recreate the padded room that they should be in their natural habitat in. And I think they've done a pretty good job. They've almost done one entire side of the room.
Compromised people cannot get vaccinated or wear a mask.
Great. Located to. And as you notice how, like, animals, whenever they're removed from their natural habitat, they'll try to create a natural habitat in the area that they've been relocated to. And as you can see here, we have a very clear mental asylum patient who's tried to recreate the padded room that they should be in their natural habitat in. And I think they've done a pretty good job. They've almost done one entire side of the room.
Compromised people cannot get vaccinated or wear a mask due to medical reasons, which is why it's crucial you should if you can. Where should I mask then? Vaccinated or wear a mask due to medical reasons, which is why it's crucial you should if you can. Where should I mask then? Everywhere? You should mask anywhere you think disabled people deserve to exist in safety. P.S.
Nowhere. Nowhere, obviously.
That's every public place.
Yes. For the record, this person's claiming that she's disabled because she's slightly autistic. Now,
I believe her. Yeah, I think she's telling the truth. I think she's, yep.
For one, never getting sick is bad for your immune system and makes you more vulnerable. For one, never getting sick is bad for your immune system and makes you more vulnerable. Two,
I haven't been sick since 2009. Uh-oh.
Two, being alive always carries risk, and nobody is masking every time they go outside forever in the extremely small chance they come across someone who has a compromised immune system and can't mask if they want to. Like, that's such a rare thing that realistically, I think this person's just overly fearful of catching COVID and is saying, what about these marginalized communities, to pretend that she isn't being selfish?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what they do. And this is what's also, like, I'm actually really glad he's bringing up this point. This is a great point, is that these people use marginalized groups that they are oftentimes not even a part of as kind of leverage in order for them to push their worldview, in order for them to make people do what they want, basically.
Calling everybody murdering eugenicists if they don't cater to what you want,
it's a bit much,
right? She isn't being selfish. Anyway, for those of you who didn't see the prior videos, this pink-haired person is Courtney, who is a 28-year-old asexual autistic person with low support needs, who also has...
I said they were a fucking millennial, didn't I? I knew it.
ADHD. Did I get all those tags perfectly correct? I wouldn't want to be called a bigot.
Oh my gosh, I had an autistic meltdown this weekend and went nonverbal. Actually, that would be a verbal
I thought that John
shutdown. Huh? Because being non-speaking or non-verbal is the permanent state of using words and other forms besides voice. You don't experience that, and you don't have to co-opt someone else's language to describe that experience.
Right.
These are people that have no problems in their life. Literally no problems at all. I can't stand her. These are the people, by the way, that get into positions of power at HR and other types of moderation places in society, and then they want to tell you how to live.
Soul is the person who made the honest mistake and not the one who is meticulously correcting everyone. Anyway, basically all of Courtney's content is centered around what level of the victim tier you're on, and she seems to revel in collecting various diagnoses like autism and ADHD, so she can use that to claim that she is disabled and therefore oppressed, which really is just a personality trait that everyone finds annoying, because ultimately, the reason that they're playing the victim oppression game is to shield themselves from any criticism of their behavior.
That's exactly right. Yeah, anytime that you attack them, you're attacking their disability or their identity, and then you're a bad person.
Which brings us to a video that I made a little while back called Why the LGBT Movement is Failing.
Oh, no.
That included an entire 10 seconds of Courtney talking about some BS about being non-binary. And I basically responded with the same sentiment of this meme here, which is that...
What do you want? I want everybody to know that I'm offended by everything.
Once you see the bad haircut and the pink hair, you know this person's going to be annoying and offended by everything.
Yeah, they're just annoying and obnoxious. You also can't be, like, I mean, besides a medical... abnormality, you can't be non-binary. Like, you're either a man or a woman. Like, that's just how it is. I mean, you can say that you're not, but saying that you're not doesn't make you not. It's common sense.
And I mean, was I wrong? Is the stereotype incorrect? Wow. Is this what you look like without the pink anime character hair? Jeez, this is what 4 years of college will do to a person. Now, a normal person would see criticism like that and either ignore it or make a video response.
Oh, jeez.
But since Courtney has the maturity of a 7-year-old like Illymation, who also thought...
I mean, yeah, she does. She has the room of a 7-year-old, too.
People should not be allowed to criticize her. She decided to fight dirty and dirty of a 7-year-old, like ignore it or make a video response.
Oh, jeez.
But since Courtney has the maturity of a 7-year-old like Illymation, who also thought...
I mean, yeah, she does. She has the room of a 7-year-old, too.
People should not be allowed to criticize her. She decided to fight dirty and file a copyright strike on my video on her to get it removed.
What?
I made this video here responding to that, where I pointed out that it's ridiculous that she's striking my video over a 10-second clip. I said that she's...
So why am I not surprised? Yep, there you go. I have multiple disabilities and I never behave like this. I apologize for sometimes being hard to deal with instead. Listen, bro, like everybody knows that a bunch of attention-starved, bored, white liberal Karens that live in an upper middle-class family are not responsible for every disabled person. We know they are an invasive species. They are. They're an invasive species. And nobody's blaming you. Nobody thinks you did anything wrong. You're not in the same group as them, and you know it, I know it, and everybody else knows it.
Engaging in copyright abuse to silence people she doesn't like.
Yep.
And I ended that video by saying that I would be fighting the strike. Now we're all caught up to everything that's already been discussed on this channel. So to continue my point about my dislike of people who constantly play the victim card...
Isn't this building in Star Fox? In, like, the first level, you have to, like, shoot it right here. It's red, and it breaks the building.
Allow me to use this next segment to point out how their demeanor completely shifts the minute they feel they have the opportunity to fight dirty and victimize the people they don't like. By the way, I love how much of this parallels the Illymation drama from last year, where she tried to, multiple times, get me deplatformed because I made a video criticizing her. Anyway, getting to the part where she continues to fight dirty, after I released the dedicated video on her talking about her abusing the copyright system, Courtney went onto her Instagram and said this: on today's episode of Alt-Right Creators Doing What...
How is everybody that disagrees with you alt-right? Like, I mean, at a certain point, don't you realize that, like, maybe you're using this a bit too much?
What they do
maybe
best.
It's a little bit too often, right?
You know what's really funny? These people are so obsessed with making sure that everyone labels them properly, yet anytime they are faced with people who have differing opinions, they mislabel them as alt-right or Nazis. I'm not alt-right. Alt-right is a bunch of white supremacists who want an ethno-state, and I have openly stated many times that I don't like racism or identity politics.
You should never even try to explain it to them, because explaining it to them gives their accusations credibility. It's a baseless, stupid accusation with a vague term that nobody even has a definitive definition of. It's just a person trying to demonize you and basically make you look bad. That's all.
So it's nice to see that Courtney believes she deserves a respect that she doesn't give to other people.
Of course.
Moving on. Think Before You Sleep posted a large anti-trans rant video.
Oh.
Stop again. It was not anti-trans. It was a video talking about how sociopathic the activists are and how
anytime that a trans person does something wrong, if you tell them that it's wrong, you're transphobic.
even LGBT
Did you guys
people
know that?
don't like the activist. I mean, if I can't say that it's wrong for Lily Tino to dress like Miss Rachel and then advertise an OnlyFans account on the same page, then Courtney is basically saying that people can't criticize anything a gay person does or a trans person does.
That's exactly right. That's why they like to identify as those groups. Now you're starting to understand it. These people want to be able to behave with complete impunity and to do whatever and say whatever they want. And so what they do is they create identities for themselves that make them victims, so anybody who attacks them is now labeled as some sort of bad person. That's the reason why they do it.
Think Before You Sleep posted a large anti-trans rant video and got mad when I got it removed for copyright because it illegally used my content, and they still don't know how copyright works. They? Are you misgendering me, Courtney? I am not a they. Think Before You Sleep posted a large anti-trans rant video and got mad when I got it removed for copyright because it illegally used my content, and they still don't know how copyright works. They? Are you misgendering me, Courtney? I am not a they, them. And last, here's the best part. After complaining about cyberbullying, Courtney finishes by saying, "If you could thumbs down, report, or leave a good comment for me, I would appreciate it as I'm being spammed by their alt-right followers right now."
I have no problem with people saying to downvote or to comment, but to tell people to report the video, that's a little bit much.
And then she leaves a link to my video in the post, followed by a screenshot showing that she watched an ad. Thanks, Courtney. I appreciate your financial support. I also appreciate how you're essentially crying about cyberbullying here as you tell your 200,000 Instagram followers to go mass flag.
This is another thing that I really fucking hate about people like this, is that they constantly cry about being victims, but the moment that anybody criticizes them, they will collectively work to deplatform and destroy this person's entire online presence. They will, like, and that's one thing that I said the other day. Remember back whenever I was criticizing that girl, like the Counter-Strike thing, and then that other girl made a tweet. She's like, I can't believe he would say that. I can't, he shouldn't be able to do that. That's so wrong. Like, special interest disability? Yeah, I guess so, right? But, like, all I'm really trying to get at here is that they have no problem bullying and attacking other people, but they want to be the ones that have the decision-making capability to do it. That's really it. They play victim while bullying people? Yes, exactly.
Bomb and harass a creator who is defending himself against you abusing the copyright system on YouTube. How are you the victim? And keep in mind that the result...
Yeah, and also, like, don't you think that her fans are going to send this guy weird messages? Of course they are. And, like, bad messages, of course. That's what happens whenever you criticize anybody on the internet.
Of her post was that I received a shitload of negative comments from her followers.
Yeah, of
really
course.
leading by example by showing that you think that bullying is wrong. Again, I love how this all parallels the Illumation drama, where she essentially did the same thing. She complains about being harassed while at the same time tells her followers to harass me, cries to Noah Sampson about it so he would
there it is. Yep.
Tell his followers to harass me, and says thank you to and gives no pushback to a friend who said I should kill myself.
And there we go. What a surprise. See, this is one of the reasons why I talk about these issues, is that I hate these people. I really do. And I like to make videos about it and expose them because I know that it is the pushback that they are terrified of. And they've bullied enough people on the internet to never criticize or push back against them, but I'm just not one of them. I like pushing back against them, and to the extent that they get upset about it, it makes me happy. So that's fine. You want to be a victim? Okay. Sounds good to me.
Let me just mention that in both cases with Courtney and Illumation...
And keep in mind, they're the ones that are the bullies. They're the ones that are going out and trying to destroy people's livelihoods, get them fired from their jobs, make sure that, that you're spreading lies about them. These people have no problem doing any of that stuff. But the moment that anybody criticizes them, even legitimately, they cry that they're being oppressed. No. Nope.
I pretty explicitly told my followers to not comment on their video.
You push back from a much larger fan base. They get what they deserve. They do. And I enjoy being able to do it. And I'll do it as long as I can.
Or harass them or engage with them in any way. So, Courtney, level with me for a second. How is it okay for you to make multiple videos saying everyone who doesn't wear a mask everywhere in public is a bad person, followed by passive-aggressively wishing disability on those who refuse to mask? Like, it's
if that's not enough for you, may I remind you that repeat COVID infections are killing and permanently disabling healthy people too?
To criticize those people, but if I say I don't like pink hair, then you feel like you're morally justified in sending your audience to try to deplatform me.
Exactly, yes. These people don't, this is what I've said before, the people don't want to defund the police, they want to be the police. People don't want to they don't want to stop censorship, they want to be the censors. They don't want to stop racism. They want to be the ones in charge of who gets to be racist. And once you understand that all of the language is just in service of them maintaining a power structure for themselves, everything else makes sense.
I mean, holy shit, these people are ridiculous, especially considering people like Illumination's good friend Noah Sampson, who's moved on to telling his followers to commit acts of terrorism. And wouldn't it be a damn shame if someone had an old deleted tweet from Illumination where she was encouraging terrorism in 2020? Wouldn't
protest, riot, do anything that you must to make them hear and make them listen. It's actually crazy that this is what makes me so mad about like people at the government right now, is that why are these people not getting investigated? Why is this not happening?
It's horrible. If someone pointed out that poor little Illumination, who was always the victim, was cheering for innocent people having the shit kicked out of them and their property being looted and destroyed. Wouldn't it be awful if someone had an archive of when Twitter likes were still public and had a post that she liked with a bunch of buildings on fire saying no justice, no peace?
That's right.
No wonder her and Noah get along. Both of them love terrorism. But I digress. You see,
they love it until it happens to them.
What Courtney has done here with this Instagram post is not only violate YouTube's cyberbullying policy, but she also violated Google's terms of service.
Wow, what a surprise.
Anyway, as I said in the earlier video, I will be fighting Courtney's abuse of the copyright system. The way that works is that you file a counterclaim, and the person who filed the strike has 10 business days to prove to YouTube that they filed a lawsuit or the video goes back up. Since Courtney was insistent that I had broken the law, and because she said she talked to someone at YouTube...
This is actually a huge W, by the way, by this guy. I totally support him. There are people that misuse the copyright abuse system.
They filed a lawsuit or the video goes back up. The way that works is that you file a counterclaim, and the person who filed the strike has 10 business days to prove to YouTube that they filed a lawsuit or the video goes back up. Since Courtney was insistent that I had broken the law, and because she said she talked to someone at YouTube...
This is actually a huge W, by the way, by this guy. I totally support him. There are people that misuse the copyright abuse system, and because of the way the law is written and the fact that it's so antiquated, like the law DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, was made in 1998, and we're still applying it to YouTube videos today. And I think that, I mean, there's obviously a huge problem with that intrinsically. But on top of that, you have people that are using this as a way to suppress criticism from each other should be universally disliked. And nobody should be supporting this at all.
They said it was copyright infringement. I hired a lawyer. Ethan Klein's lawyer, actually. And after I finished the initial consultation, I just started laughing. Just so everyone's up to speed, any creative work that you make, like a song or a YouTube video, is by law instantly copyrighted so that people can't resell it.
Yes, this was changed in the 1970s. Before that, it had to be patented, but in the 1970s, this was changed.
Claim it's theirs, unless they want to get sued. However, there's an exception to copyright called fair use, which says that you can use people's copyrighted works for the sake of things like parody, education, or commentary, provided that your use of the work doesn't act as a replacement for it, and provided that your input on whatever you used creates some sort of transformative change that alters how people interpret it. This is what allows for doing things like a movie review and using clips from that movie without having to ask the company.
Exactly.
So I'm arguing that my use of Courtney's content is fair use.
It's obviously fair use. And she knows that, and she's not going to go to court with it. I mean, obviously.
Have to be held up in a court of law, but since I only use 10
and that's
seconds,
also another important component is that fair use is a legal defense. It's not a preemptive kind of categorization. So in order to get a person to say that, no, it's okay for you to do that, it's fair use, you do have to have that decided by a court of law, which is what makes it so annoying.
And I gave commentary that argued against what she was saying, it's almost certain that it would be ruled as fair use. But that's not why I thought this whole thing was funny after talking to a lawyer. Now, I'm going to be brief on these specific reasons for why Courtney is screwed because I'm not trying to educate my opponent. That would be a stupid move.
Sure.
However, I will say that basically the lawyer. Now, I'm going to be brief on these specific reasons for why Courtney is screwed because I'm not trying to educate my opponent. That would be a stupid move.
Sure.
However, I will say that basically the reason
bold of you to assume that she would be smart enough to watch a video that would help her situation. She's the kind of person that's so stupid. She's like a lot of the people that Ethan is suing. They think that they're on the right side of history, so they have some kind of plot armor that's going to prevent them from having any type of accountability.
Laughing is because the amount of damages that she's legally allowed to pursue for copyright infringement of that 10-second clip is almost nothing compared to how much it would cost to sue me. She would be putting a second mortgage on that pink house to afford it.
Jesus.
That's if she wins. However, if she loses, which is very likely, it would be incredibly easy for me to prove that her takedown was malicious, which means I can countersue for my lawyer fees, and that won't be cheap. However, if she loses, which is very likely, it would be incredibly easy for me to prove that her takedown was malicious, which means I can countersue for my lawyer fees, and that won't be cheap for her. So let me be very clear when I say that if somebody were to put me through a massive waste of time lawsuit like that and didn't have the liquid cash to pay for it, I would be brutal in trying to seize every single piece of property that they value until the fees were paid. I very much believe in the fuck around and find out policy. And if you want to get so pissy about someone criticizing your pink hair that you turn it into a legal battle, then I'll make sure that you understand why it's a stupid idea to file a lawsuit against somebody because your feelings got hurt. Because once you stop being emotional about this, you're going to realize how financially stupid this was for you. Now, as for what's happened...
No, she's not. Look at all of her plushies. She's professionally financially stupid.
So far, legally, I realize how financially stupid this was for you. Now, as for what's happened...
No, she's not. Look at all of her plushies. She's professionally financially stupid.
So far, legally, I filed a counterclaim and she backed down. Probably because she doesn't have a lawyer or any actual understanding of how the law works, and she doesn't want to lose a lawsuit. Actually, just for laughs, let's go over how I know she doesn't have a lawyer. For starters, she said, a person at YouTube told me it was copyright infringement, instead of saying something like, my lawyer said it was copyright infringement. Not to mention that YouTube, instead of saying, for starters, she said, a person at YouTube told me it was copyright infringement, instead of saying something like, my lawyer said it was copyright infringement. Not to mention that YouTube purposefully does not take
Actually, no. 10 seconds of unedited footage with no overlays or edits does not qualify as fair use for unique video content. I worked in the creative space for years. I'm quite familiar with copyright laws. That's why a human rep at YouTube approved it. They're just mad that someone finally submitted a claim with their videos and it could easily be removed. Unedited footage.
Stance on these issues because they don't want to be held liable. So Courtney was probably talking to a secretary.
By the way, the video was edited. The aspect ratio was changed. The videos were recorded in landscape, and they were edited because this video is not in landscape. It's in 1080p. So, like, even on a technicality, she's wrong. Like, it's just, again, and this is... like, is it a bot or representative? Yeah, it's just stupid.
AI chatbot that she thought was a human. Now, let me further emphasize how stupid it is to not consult legal counsel for stuff like this. Because Courtney 100% does not know how to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, something
which,
like that.
as the defendant, personally, I love. So after she made that post telling everyone to mass flag my channel,
she's trying to sue
she made
people?
a YouTube community post talking about my video where people were happy to confirm that they were mass flagging my video that broke no rules, which again violates YouTube's community guidelines. Here's evidence of that. The great thing about this post is that it helps my case for fair use. Her calling me alt-right and transphobic is a public admission that our viewpoints are diametrically opposed. Thanks, Courtney. That'll make it much easier to argue in a court of law that my commentary is transformative and fair use
because it's critical. Yes.
I'm arguing a viewpoint that opposes yours.
Yes, that's one of the 4 pillars of fair use. If she knew anything about fair use, she would know that, and she would have never said that. It's actually crazy. You know, there's a reason why every lawyer tells you that whenever you're in the middle of a lawsuit that you're not supposed to talk about it. Have you ever noticed that? Like, while they always say that, this is the reason why they always say that.
The great part is that she deleted this post, another indicator that she doesn't have a lawyer, because deleting evidence like that is called spoliation, and there are penalties for that in court.
True.
I mean, she'd have to be an idiot to think I didn't save it. Speaking of, Courtney had no...
He's got it. Yeah, why? Also, by the way, it is something that's looked upon very negatively. If you're found to be deleting evidence that could basically make you look bad, I mean, at that point, like, I mean, really, let's just go ahead and use a little bit of common sense here. Why would somebody want to delete evidence about themselves like that? Why would they want to do that? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they're trying to hide the truth. That's why.
No problem running her mouth all over the comment section of that post, and it would be a damn shame if somebody read through every single public comment she made and archived them. I mean, she was super arrogant about how knowledgeable she is about copyright law and how she has some sort of connections at YouTube. I guess it didn't work that well because my video is back up. Here's a comment that says, they're weird as hell for getting upset over this. Even
Too bad, huh? Too bad. One's genius, the other one's insane. Judge has common sense too.
Yeah,
everybody sees this.
You have a right to not be in a video if you don't want to. There they go, misgendering me again. I'm not a they, them. And no, she doesn't have the right to not be criticized. Courtney is an influencer, and because she posts herself in the public square...
Yep, and we've got... And I proved their point to a real person at YouTube. It wasn't under fair use, and they agreed. And no, they didn't agree with you, Courtney. You moron. They have to agree with you. DMCA compels them to shoot first and ask questions later. It's not, that's not even what it is. That's not how it works. That's never how it's worked.
People are allowed to comment on her.
Imagine being Ethan's lawyer right now. I would be so happy. This is, all you do is farm like these retarded Karens on the internet. And the only thing that's unfortunate is that I don't think that a lot of them have very much money. 2 big law cases? Yeah, exactly. And then, oh, it's ableist and transphobic comments. Right. Well, Your Honor, if you look, so this comment said I was a dumb bitch. So I think that I should win the lawsuit and he should give me all the money. Yes, okay, that's nice. That's why I asked him wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah.
If you don't want people commenting on you, then don't post stuff on the internet. Courtney responds by agreeing and saying that transphobic comments make a video not fair use? What?
This is your brain on victim mentality. That's your brain. That's how it works, guys. That's where you're at.
Did I read that right?
Yep.
Here's a comment where she's openly acknowledging that she told her followers to go harass me and how much she appreciates them doing that.
Oh,
and last but not least, you could use this comment to argue that the reason that she struck the video is because of the criticism and not because any copyright infringement was...
Yep. The comment section was so unrelated to the serious issue. I saw they talked about your hair color, your gender identification, other stuff had nothing to do with anything. There were some hard comments to read. And that's what they do when they don't have an actual argument. Unfortunately, the original video was 100x that, and I have zero regrets getting it taken down if it stopped some of the hate for other folks on it. It stopped some of the hate for other folks on it. Should not have said that. You shouldn't have said that. Why would you say that? Even if you think it's true, you should know not to say it. That's what I think. This, yes, main character syndrome. I know. This is... We have an epidemic, and this is just going to get worse every year because more millennials are going to get into positions of power. We have an epidemic of main character syndrome millennials. And these are these androgynous, brain dead, emotionally unstable blobs that are addicted to Pokemon, SSRIs, and anime who are trying to ruin the world. That's what we're up against, guys. That's it. And now, yes, and now Labubu's. And I understand I'm also a millennial. But I'm one of the good ones, okay? At least I think so. These other people are fucking crazy. They're awful. Yeah, I'm one of the good ones.
Admitted. Let me just emphasize that we have a ton of evidence that Courtney filed that strike in bad faith.
Of course.
And just as a reminder, for those of you who haven't seen the video that she tried to silence that's called Why the LGBT Movement is Failing, note that video was primarily about predators like Lily Tino filming in the Disneyland bathrooms with children.
That's right. Yes, of course. Yes. And the transphobia is coming from, that's right, filming children and talking about getting, trans surgery in a public space with children in the background. Yes, that was the criticism. Why do you have such an obsession with going into women's bathrooms? I've been into a woman's bathroom before. It's the same as a man's bathroom, except they don't have urine. It's the exact same thing. They're not cleaner. It's the exact same thing. Sure, you have to clean it out. Yeah, sure. You guys ever done that? Of course.
Advertising OnlyFans on a page that features Miss Rachel parody content intended for kids, and going into restaurants trying to get people fired in an attempt to go viral on TikTok, as well as there being a crazy mom in that video giving her kid medicine that will permanently sterilize him at 13 years old.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
You are in the perfect place to start on blockers.
And she
I understand that a lot of you guys really get frustrated because I'm not racist to other groups of people. It's because I can't be. But I can be racist to my group of people. Wow. It's the usual suspects. Every single time.
promises to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones, in 2 years.
Around 13. That's what I think. You're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Who's the
Oh my God.
Bad person here? Courtney is literally defending child predators and saying, I'm the hateful one
insane.
Because I spent 20 seconds in a video saying I don't like her pink hair and I think she's annoying. Everybody is tired of people like this. Everybody is tired of adults like this who behave like 5-year-olds wagging their fingers and telling everyone what to do.
Yes! I am sick of hearing what I need to do from a person who looks like they need to be in a padded room. If your personality is your mental disorders, I don't want to hear about what I need to change in my life from you. Holy shit.
You stop living the life you thought a proper adult should and start living for what brings your inner child joy.
So, when I was a younger guy, I always wanted to hold on to and remember the way I was whenever I was a kid, right? Like, I had a really great childhood growing up. Everything was really good for me. Like, I was so happy. Everything was great. And, you know, I tell people, Chibi, thanks for the 10 gifted subs, bro. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. And I did. And I had that happen a lot. And I kind of felt the same way that this girl did. And, like, I mean, obviously, I didn't do it, right? But, like, I mean, it's, you know, to an extent, right? And I think that whenever my mom died, I realized that you can't really ever actually go back. You can't, like, I'm a grown man now. I'm a grown man. I'm in my own life. And, you know, that was the old times. This is the new times. And, you know, She was then, I'm now. And that's it. And I think that the amount of coddling and and my dad, was always, my dad is even, if you can believe, my dad, for however harsh I am, my dad's like 3 times as bad. So yeah, hate that feeling. Seeing my dad pass. Yeah. And I think that really it was a reality check for me. It was. And I feel bad for these people in a way, but the issue that I have is that they're looking for something and they're never going to find it because it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Everything about it is gone. And you keep trying to hold on to this world, and you keep trying to, like, it's like you're holding it so hard, and it's just, yeah, time has passed. And it was a very weird thing for me because I used to be such a sentimental and nostalgic person, and I still am in a lot of ways. But a big part of me changed after that happened, and a couple of other, like big personal events happened in my life. And I stopped constantly reminiscing on being 17 years old, because for a long time I was like, okay, and I still believe this. I believe I was born rich. I had 2 parents that loved me. I lived in a nice house, and I was surrounded by my friends. We didn't have millions of dollars, but I'd trade millions of dollars to have what I had then again. But I can't do that. I can't have that happen. And so instead of what these people need to do, and this is a criticism you can leverage at me too, is that instead of trying to recreate your own childhood, why don't you try to have kids and recreate theirs and create theirs for the first time and give them the opportunity to be happy the way that you were? Like, that's the way you're, like, that's the circle of life, right? That's what you're supposed to do. It's the same as I said before. Like, whenever I was a kid, a young guy, I was getting food stamps. I was on food stamps. And I was jacking off to fucking bullshit on the internet, like different random shit, and playing video games. That's what I was doing. That's my job. I was getting paid to sit around and do fucking nothing, right? Furry porn? Well, I was going to make a joke about it, but I decided that might be a weird joke, right? Especially with, like, kind of some of the weird stuff that's happened recently. So, like, no jokes about that. But the point is that, and now I'm an adult. I'm making good money. Things are good for me. I'm paying it forward to the next generation of do-nothing neats, because one of them might actually do something in the future that might make money for the next generation of do-nothing neats. And so, really, I mean, I that's what's so sad about this, is it's the subversion and the mutation of what's supposed to be the human experience. So instead of trying to recreate and give the childhood that you loved and made you so happy to your children, you're trying to relive it for yourself. There's something that's spiritually wrong about that. And I understand that, I don't have any kids, right? So, like, I'm also not trying to do this either. It's something it's really wrong. Am I crazy? Like, this just came out of me, right? But I just saw the picture and it made me think about it. It really did. You're not crazy? Yeah, exactly. It's trying to live forever? Yeah, and there's a certain amount of selfishness to it, I think. There is. The center of their own universe, exactly. There's something spiritually wrong about this. I don't say that very often.
Child joy.
This is what I mean.
This is what a proper adult can look like too. Bright hair, colorful clothes, tattoos, plushies, and all. Great. You want to dress like Dora the Explorer? Go ahead. I don't give a fuck. There's no right or wrong way to be an adult. Of course there is. There's tons of wrong ways to be an adult. There's tons of right ways to be an adult. Absolutely. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, absolutely you are. Plus, life is way too dang short to live it for someone else's narrow ideals. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, I think that there's something wrong with it. Yes. There's this kind of stuff to make you believe in biblical good and evil. There's nothing, these people are pure evil. They're not pure evil. They are, I think that they have taken permissive liberalism to its logical conclusion, which is I should be able to do whatever I want. I shouldn't have to conform to any social ideal. There's nothing, these people are pure evil. They're not pure evil. They are, I think that they have taken permissive liberalism to its logical conclusion, which is I should be able to do whatever I want. I shouldn't have to conform to any social ideals. Everything in the entire world is completely about me, and I am the victim. I'm the main character. I'm going to be selfish with everything, and even to the detriment of other people that care about me. That's it.
To me, because I'm a child, I'm afraid of COVID, so here's this drawing I made to call you a piece of shit for not wearing a mask. You know, if you're a 28-year-old who has Peter Pan syndrome and want to play with children's toys...
Rating my fidget toys.
Eat the diet of a kindergartner and live inside of your obnoxiously...
Wait, what does it say? Exclusively eats junk food and calls it safe food. I can see why you have stomach just don't listen to any of that. It's not true at all. Safe foods. I'm always curious what other people's are.
And live inside of your obnoxiously pink house that I'm...
So that's why there's so much decor still in the front. Oh my God. And you can see that, and this is, I think this is what's so sad, man, is that you have the Christmas stockings up all year. Isn't it sad? It's sad, man.
I'm sure your husband is only pretending to like because he's afraid of you. Then go ahead.
Husband.
It's America. Live how you want to live in private. But the minute you start bringing your childish bullshit around me is the minute that I start caring.
People have the right to have an opinion.
The minute you start pretending to be a victim as an excuse to treat people like shit is the minute I have a problem.
And that's not even considering the larger community of all disabled folks who also experience chronic stress and dysregulation from unmet accessibility needs and living in disabled bodies in a disability-hostile world.
Right. We live in a disability-hostile world where we have a ton of accommodations and legislation to help disabled people, as well as economic support.
This is the most disabled, like this is the most friendly the world has ever been to disabled people. They used to throw them off a cliff. I don't think we really do that too much anymore, right? We don't really do that hardly at all. So I feel like things have gotten a lot better. Like, what are the ramps for?
People who are unable to work. I mean, this chick should check out World War II Germany if she wants to see a government that's hostile towards disabled people. But ultimately...
Oh, God. And what I find to be so funny about this is that this is actually invoking, like, Nazi Germany in a way that's accurate. And anybody who's educated in this knows that.
This line of messaging is not helpful to the people that she claims to be advocating for, which is typical of activism. And I get tired of people who have made it their life's mission to infect others with philosophy that turns them into useless victims.
And as someone who's black myself and has observed a lot of the mindsets that permeate within the black community, I think the one thing that's holding a lot of us back is the victimhood mentality. I've never been a fan of any group of people looking at me and saying, poor you because of this and that.
Right. This victim mindset is...
No, he's completely right. I mean, the way that you empower minorities and groups of people like that to succeed is you give them the same opportunities that other people have. That's why I've always been in favor of, like affirmative action based off of income. Like, it's the same thing. I mean, like, and if it disproportionately helps minorities, something isn't good or bad based off of who it helps. Something is good or bad objectively. And if you're looking at, oh, well, the wrong people are getting points against them for this, or the right people are winning because of this, and that's wrong, you're not thinking about the issue. You're thinking about your agenda.
It's rampant in a lot of communities, and it's not helpful to anyone because it just demoralizes them into achieving far less than their potential.
Sure does.
Usually that results in them demanding stuff from everyone that they could have just gotten for themselves. What's worse in Courtney's case, though, is that not only will she tell disabled people to avoid assimilating into normal society as much as they're able to, but also she'll tell them to self-diagnose mental disabilities.
Oh, no, what is this? By the way, how do you have the money to live like this? Really? I mean, like, what the fuck is this? Pure diagnosis or being validated by another autistic person is very accurate, and that's what I recommend for those people seeking validation outside of healthcare. What is this? So it's like the N-word pass, but for autistic people? Oh, no, I can say it. No. Crazy Ted gave me the pass. This is so fucking stupid. And these are the same people, hey, by the way, the same people probably spamming, trust the science.
Abilities, which is just the worst health advice. And apparently, this is an entire trend on TikTok.
Yeah, what is this? Let me go back and read this here. Healthcare access is not universal, and systematic inequality is. It is universal to get a lot of healthcare access. If you don't think so, then go to the emergency room and see if they're going to treat you or not. Yeah, just go there. I mean, you do get healthcare access. You can be an illegal alien and they're going to treat you. That's just the way it is.